Looking across the track at the HM Plant Honda of Carl Harris, and really with 5 wins this year, you'd be a brave man to bet against a fella like Carl Harris. But I've got to say, Leon Camier, he's due some impressive results, because this young man, well, you remember him when he was on 125s, he only stood about 3 foot tall. Now he's about 6'6". I exaggerate slightly, but he's certainly over 6 foot. So Leon Camier, the long, lean youngster. There's the 22-year-old Michael Laverty. And Laverty on the Monster Mob 749 Ducati. Well, we've heard it all before. It needs a result if he's going to manage it. He's in second place, but 36 points behind in the championship, with only this and 3 more races left to go in the series. 25 points will go down wonderfully, but Camier's going to try and stop him. Great start for Camier. Bit of a slack start there for Carl Harris. Has he got it? No, he hasn't. He's gone right backwards. So number 1, Carl Harris, has slid backwards, but it's Laverty who made a fantastic start in the turn 1. Then it's Leon Camier, I think, in second place. Yes, it is, on bike 17. 24, Jay Vincent. Camier's teammate joins him through there in third place as well, as all the rest trip themselves up at the chicane, but I think everybody stayed on. No, they haven't. There's one bike that rolls into the picture at the back of the grid, and that looks like a collarbone. That looks like Kieran Murphy, actually, but no, it's not. It's number 50, so I can't remember exactly who that is at this moment in time as I scratch down to look at my paperwork. But anyway, off the front.
Unusual for Carl Harris to get a bad start. You see the punch coming through the first turn here.
That was Chris Barton, that's why I didn't get it. He was outside of the qualification maximum. He was right at the very back of the grid, and I hadn't got him on my sheet, so Chris Barton was the faller. Meanwhile, Laverty from Camier. This is going to be a battle of the youngsters, and these are the future of motorcycle racing here in Great Britain. It is Laverty from Northern Ireland, Camier up behind him, then Jay Vincent, stalwart of Grand Prix, and a superb 250cc Grand Prix rider. He's in third place on bike 24. Then it is 19 that's dropped right in with them now, and that's of course Adrian Coates. Yeah, another Ulsterman. So we've got an Ulsterman, 2 Ulstermen in the top 4, and that looks as if in 5th place it is the MSS Discovery Kawasaki of Perry Reba.
Yeah, I was going to say, really unusual for Carl Harris to miss the lights and get a bad start. He's way back there in 8th position, so Carl Harris has got a big job on. Leon Camier, though, has looked brilliant all weekend here at this Croft circuit. Looked like he got the jump, but Michael Laverty just getting that big twin off the line.
And the big scare is Carl Harris back in 8th place at the moment, just in front of Craig Jones on the Triumph. Carl Harris got an absolutely minger of a start. I've never seen such a bad start from Carl Harris. And really, you can't do that here at Croft. He's given these guys a real opportunity to get away, and he's going to have to use every one of those 20 laps intelligently to close them down. Well,
we know he's a bit special, but he'll have to be extra special today if he's going to get to the front, because these guys have been going, way down there. Just in front of Craig Jones. Craig Jones, number 18, the only triumph in this race, and I really feel like Craig Jones on a bike that was competitive with these guys at the front would be running at the front.
Well, there's no doubt about it. Valmoto have done a great job with that triumph over the last 2 years, including this one, of course, and but this year it's a one-man effort. Craig Jones, the only rider in the team. They must be missing Jim Moody, I'm sure, as well, who will be watching this, I have to tell you, in Leeds, where he's
Jay Vincent under his teammate.
Thank you for that.
Sorry.
You're right.
Carry on.
You don't want to say thank you to Jim Moody.
I can't help myself. Yeah. Get well soon to Jim Moody, of course.
Oh! Down goes Michael Laverty. Laverty spins the rear end out at the hairpin, and Michael Laverty has made a big mistake. Paul Bird will be bashing his head against the wall in the Monster Mob camp. What was that about? A 1-2 Paget's Honda? Well, right now they are 1-2. The Monster Mob, but well, that is just incredible. Let go in the middle of
nothing wrong there, middle of the corner, touched the throttle. Absolutely nothing you could do about that. And these guys, a little bit like the R6 Cup guys, they're on road-based tyres, all be cut slicks, but
scary.
But the R6 Cup guys, we've seen a lot of these guys going down on the opening laps.
Well, I can tell you, Perry Reba spent all his time yesterday trying out tyres, and he was on the wrong tyre. Jay Vincent is in the lead, but look at Perry Reba attacking. Wow, Reba absolutely forcing his way up into third place there. That was incredible. Adrian Coates, who's a tough little cookie himself, has just been beaten up by a Spaniard. So
that was a tough manoeuvre.
It was. Dear me. 24. Jay Vincent leads. He's a great little rider, Jay Vincent. Has been for a great number of years. He has got his young protege now in his slipstream, Leon Camier. And followed up by Perry Reba, whose father is watching this back at home in Barcelona. And Adrian Coates, I'm sure most of Ulster will be watching him on the TAS Suzuki there. Hector Neal and Philip Neal's team, who always turn out a great looking setup. And you've got to say that I don't know what happened to Michael Laverty in the middle of that corner on the last lap. That was a look at Phil Borley there trying to work it out. Phil Borley on there, why that just suddenly leapt out from under him. Laverty did nothing wrong at all. 24, Vincent leads. 17, Leon Camier, his teammate on the Paget's Honda. Clive Paget will be looking the other way at the moment. He will be so tense. They almost had this kind of result coming at Brands Hatch earlier on in the year, but just couldn't quite keep it together. If you remember, Camier's bike just blew an oil filter, let oil out over the back of the motor, and really, in fact, it was an oil transfer cooler, and it put oil into the exhaust, and it just smoked its way until it let go, and Camier was slung up the road at high speed, fortunately without injury. Still it is. Vincent leads, Camier second, Perry Rebira on the MSS Discovery Kawasaki in third place. Then it's the TAS Suzuki of Adrian Coates. These four now easing away from in fifth place. It's Tom Sykes, then Luke Quigley. Then it's number one, Carl Harris, up to seventh place now, and Stuart Easton. Now that is a great result. Stuart Easton building his confidence back. The two times Supersports, well, in fact, he's a one-time British Supersports champion, but he was second the second year. Harris is just in front of Stuart Easton, who's in eighth place. Excuse me if I get excited there, but Stuart Easton I would sorely love to see back in a podium type situation, and certainly once his confidence starts to come back, I'm convinced he will be back on it. Well, joining us here in the commentary position, another Scotsman in the form of Ian McPherson. Ian, of course, a winner at World Supersport level and second in the championship in '99. The World Championship I'm talking about there, not the British Championship. Ian, not on the ETI Superbike anymore, back walking, pounding the beat, as it would seem, at trackside, but this Supersports race is looking a bit good.
Yeah, that's it. You always get a good race in the Supersport class. It's always very close. I'm just hoping Perry can get up to the front. I've got my money on Rebira.
You got your money on Rebira. Well, you've been up against Perry Rebira, of course, at the World Supersports level, and Rebira spent a lot of time wasting yesterday on the wrong tyre. Oh, Craig Jones walking back in the try in front of Craig Jones. So just 19-year-old Craig Jones on his way back to the paddock. Technical problem, he stopped, he hasn't fallen off the motorcycle, he's perfectly okay. But the try...
Oh, Rebira down!
Oh, there goes your money, and there goes some of Nick Morgan's, because that is a very, very bent. He ain't going to be picking that up and polishing out the dents. So that Kawasaki is deceased. There is no more. Well, what can I say? Perry Rebira, just when Ian McPherson puts his money on him, he appears sideways on, lost the rear end, and Rebira's motorcycle picks up on the grass, lands on the back of the subframe, and absolutely wrecks the chassis. That was the front that went, actually, wasn't it? Front tucked under the back, following him round.
Yeah, that was sunny, and it really is a fine line at this Croft circuit, and Perry is not a rider that makes mistakes.
Not happy. Yeah, that's... well, he's soon becoming the song and dance man, isn't he, Perry? We've seen him in that pose a couple of times. Stuart Simmons, of course, and Nick Morgan, joint owners of the MSS Discovery team. Well, that's a disaster for them. It just looked like Rebira was putting all the things that went wrong yesterday right today. Meanwhile, no problem for Clive Paget just yet, but he'll be chewing his fingernails, having just seen that, because clearly anything can still happen here at Croft. Out front are Paget's two heroes. Jay Vincent, well, he'd never ridden a Supersports bike until this year, and slowly but surely he has got better and better on it. Leon Camier was the better qualifier today, but you've got to say that Camier is now following in the wake, and they won't want to follow in the wake for too long, because here he comes. Carl Harris on the HM Plant Honda has made his way through from an appalling start, and he deserves a slap on the wrist for that. An appalling start for him. He was down in something like 9th or 10th place by the time they come to the end of lap 1. He's now up to 4th place, and he is a harassing number 36, who is, of course, Tom Sykes, Adrian Coates' teammate. So Adrian Coates, I'm just looking to see where Coates has slipped back to. He slipped right out of the equation. Coates is down into 6th place now. His teammate Sykes has moved up to that 3rd place position. Almost had me fooled then when I looked at the monitor there. 36 is Sykes. Number 1 is Carl Harris in 4th place. Here are the leading duo on the Paget's Hondas. That's the same machine that's in 4th place, albeit fettled by a different bunch of mechanics. Well, as I've said, Ian McPherson joins us here at the moment. Your money was on Perry Rebira. Perhaps you'd like to part with some of your money and go and help the boys out to repair it.
No thanks, I'll pass on that one.
Matt Llewellyn in 7th place, Stuart Easton in 8th place. So the teammates on the Ducati Coventry bikes there in 7th and 8th. And I think that is a good result from Stuart Easton. His confidence slowly building back up, and he's another victim of ETI's management. Ian McPherson, the latest victim, sits beside me. Sorry, Alistair Flanagan, the owner of ETI, but I have to say, 4 riders in a year, you certainly are exercising the option to put on the bike who you want to. Let's hope it works out well for Mara Brown in race 2 today. Certainly Mara Brown seemed to be pretty much at home on the ETI bike in the first Superbike race of the day. Meanwhile, here we are on the British Supersports. Carl Harris, 5 times a winner this year. I don't know whether he's going to be able to make it up to make it 6 times a win. He's certainly going to have to work very hard, and again in the middle of that hairpin, the rear end of the Honda just letting go a little bit and letting Tom Sykes off the hook as they come down towards turn 1. Vincent and Camier are what, 2 seconds in front of Sykes in 3rd place and 2.9 seconds in front of Harris in 4th place. Leon Camier has the fastest lap, 1 minute 23.9, which of course is a new lap record for this racetrack. Carl Harris just doesn't seem to have the momentum he needs to get to the front of this, Neil.
No, he doesn't. I mean, he's not getting flustered. He knows that the surface here is pretty tricky. Really unusual, as I said, for him to make a bad start. And he's made up ground, but of course, Leon Camier and Jay Vincent very strong at the front. They've been comfortable all weekend. Paget's Honda is working really well. And it would be a dream come true for the Paget son, of course, Clyde Paget, who runs the team, to get a 1-2 here at Croft.
Well, we talk about 1-2s, and we've been talking about that in the Superbike class, of course, with Suzuki. But now this particular team are in for a position of 1-2. They're all assuming that there are no team orders between these 2 guys. We move into the scenario again of whether they are going to duke it out later on in the day. Jay Vincent has the advantage in the series at the moment by a considerable margin. He's got 117 points compared with Leon 65, but albeit they're not fighting for the championship at this moment in time, and I can't imagine Clive Paget imposing any orders on them. So are we going to see a bit of a teammate battle carrying on as the closing laps?
I would say pretty much definitely. Leon Camier looks very comfortable behind Jay Vincent at the moment. We're on lap 9 out of 20. Jay Vincent comfortable at the front, but Leon Camier is comfortable following him and can really just track him round, have a look where he might be stronger, set up a bit of a passing manoeuvre, but maybe saving it for maybe 2/3 of the way, 3/4 of the way through the race. But at the moment, he's got a comfortable gap between himself, Camier in 2nd, and Tom Sykes in 3rd, who is now in 4th as Harris goes down the inside into Tower.
But Sykesy, good on the brakes. He went the long way round, and that shows you just how brave and determined the TAS Suzuki man is. Well, another fall, and we got a turn. Looks like turn 1, that does. Meanwhile, back with your front men. So I think that was Shane Norval, the South African, that was down on the Q Motorsport Honda 54. We're getting reports that Shane Norval was the faller that you saw briefly there. Meanwhile, at the front, Jay Vincent looks to me like he's just putting a little tiny brake on Leon Camier. Meanwhile, try as he does, Carl Harris, certainly that Honda looks a little quicker than Suzuki on the old fast bits here and there. Would you concur?
I would say, but Tom Sykes' bike, I reckon, is handling a little bit better. He looks very comfortable. Tom Sykes is long overdue. Some podiums and long overdue race win in the Supersport class. He had a brilliant season last season, struggled a little bit this year, but his JSXR 600 looking good this weekend.
Can't argue with anything you said there. Indeed, Tom Sykes, he is definitely due a podium. So Tom Sykes currently on 54 points, 2, 4, 6, 8th place in the championship at the moment. As I look down my list to see exactly his best result, and really 13 points is his best score so far this year. That was at Mondello Park, which is not dissimilar, I suppose, in a strange kind of way, to Croft. So Tom Sykes obviously liking this kind of track, as again Harris winds the wick up on the HM Plant Honda, but he has really got to make it turn and stop at the same corner.
You can see he's not comfortable because he got a good drive onto the back straight there, got in Tom Sykes' slipstream really close to him, pulled out alongside him the brakes, but he wasn't comfortable to outbrake him and turn in.
He all but made the pass, but just lacked that last little bit of commitment. And I have to say, if there's anybody out there that doesn't lack commitment when it comes to a battle, it's Carl Harris.
He knows when commitment can end in disaster.
Yeah, he certainly does. So
discretion was the key word there.
There are so many contradictions with Carl Harris. When you speak to him, you just wouldn't think. It's my opinion again, but you just wouldn't think that he actually is as calculating as he clearly is on a motorcycle, and incidentally off it as well. But he does the best cover-up I've ever known.
He just goes on autopilot when the lights change and very rarely makes mistakes, and he knows how to win championships. He's won 2 British Supersport Championship and he's won a European Superstock Championship, so if a case of finishing rather than throwing it away, then that's what he'll do. He knows there'll be other chances when he can win races towards the end of the season, but I'm pretty sure he'd at least want a rush from here at Croft. Paul Young down.
Paul Young. That looked like Paul Young. Was that Kieran Murphy that was there as well?
Well, he was racing with him, so there's a good chance it was.
Paul Young, the Australian winner from Knock Hill, you remember, in slightly adverse conditions. Great ride from him. He should have also won a Brands Hatch earlier in the year in the wet, but made a real dubious tyre choice. Today, though, it was clear cut. He's just out of the race. A bit of a tanglement there, it looked like, with perhaps Kieran Murphy. I hope I haven't misidentified him. So Vincent and Camier close together. Yes, it was definitely Kieran Murphy, we're told. Here we go again. Oh, I tell you what. Carl Harris right up on the white line there. Loads of drive, committed to the outside of that racetrack. A little bit of frustration perhaps sneaking in on Carl Harris, looking for a different way round.
He really is, because he's trying everything. You know that he's not happy sitting there. He's had a look at Tom Sykes for a few laps. Tom Sykes just doing a brilliant job, and at the moment Carl Harris can't do anything with him. He knows he needs to get past him if he's got any chance of chasing the Paget's Hondas of Camier and Jay Vincent, but at the moment he's really struggling with Tom Sykes. You see Carl Harris getting a little bit sideways there, trying to find that extra bit of grip.
Still out front, the Paget's Hondas cruising away, team riding at the front of the field, just 0.3 of a second, a nice safe 0.3 of a second between them. We'll wait and see if anybody pulls the pin towards the end of this race between those two, and see if Leon Camier is going to try and establish some kind of pecking order in the teammate stakes at the front of this field. But meanwhile, this is the enthralling battle between third place man Tom Sykes, bike 36, and the man who's won more races than anybody else in this series this year so far, Carl Harris. Of course, the reigning and defending British Supersports champion.
Carl Harris number 1 in 4th position then. Right behind him is Adrian Coates, Tom Sykes' teammate, in 5th, and Luke Quigley in 6th. Brilliant line from Luke Quigley, and also a couple of weekends ago at Brands Hatch, he finished 12th in the World Supersport Championship, 1 place in front of Tom Still, who was in 13th.
Again, you saw the Honda just, I tell you what, it just squirts that little bit nicer than Suzuki out of that turn, doesn't it? It just gets a little bit more grunt perhaps in that particular part of the track, puts Carl Harris right to the rear wheel of Tom Sykes. To me, it just shows you how good Tom Sykes is riding, because you know how good Carl Harris is, you know how much on the limit he is. How good does that make the two Paget's boys then?
Well, yeah, they're just on the next level at the front there.
And they're both on Hondas.
They certainly are.
So my point being, of course, that Carl Harris is on what would be considered the factory Honda. So Paget's have done a good job to get their two blokes going as fast as they are today. Deservedly deserve a couple of podiums. So anything can happen, as we've seen in the R6 Cup, but hopefully these guys can make it all the way to the end. But Leon Camier, I'm pretty sure now will be thinking of setting up a passing manoeuvre, certainly looking to where he can get past Jay Vincent, or thinking about a pass towards the end of the race. Still a long way to go yet though, isn't there? We're only on lap 13 of the 20, and really Jay Vincent, he is so tucked in nice and neat on the motorcycle, and well, you've got to say that considering this was his first time on a Supersports bike this year, it's not an easy motorcycle to get used to. He's been used to a Grand Prix 250cc twin-cylinder two-stroke motorcycle for the majority of his career and ridden it damn well. And he's thrown into a British Supersport situation on a 4-stroke basic road bike with, okay, so they can change the compounds of the tyres, but they're not slick tyres after all. It's a much heavier motorcycle than he's used to. It's a great sideways step, if you like.
It certainly is, especially after he had pretty much a year off last year. He had one 250 ride at a British Grand Prix, then an outing at Open Park on a Virgin Yamaha. So Jay Vincent, a year out, he had to come back, learn to ride a new bike, learn to ride a new class, and come back to racetracks they hadn't seen for pretty much 10 years. So Jay Vincent, doing a brilliant job, but I reckon a rider with talent can ride anything.
Okay, well, we've got one sat alongside us with you, of course, Neil. Oh, Simon Andrews out. Well, that has not been a great weekend for him. He comes off the back of a fine win in front of Carl Harris, in front of 80,000 rain-soaked fans at the British Grand Prix. MotoGP race also had a Supersports guest invitation race, and Simon Andrews blitzed everybody from that. I was about to come to Ian McPherson here, who's won at World Supersports level, of course, and been a winner on other motorcycles as well. You've pretty much covered the ground. How difficult is it to ride these bikes? Jay Vincent, a year off, comes to Supersport after running 250 Grand Prix. How difficult would it have been for him to pick up the pieces here?
Yeah, it's a very difficult job for him, but he's doing well at the moment. The problem is, coming from the 2 strokes onto 4 strokes, there's different power characteristics in the bike, and he's doing a great job. It takes a while to learn these things, and a lot of folk can't make the transformation but he's done well and he's leading the race.
Yeah, can't say better than that really, can you, if he's out front at the moment. We had a brief look there at Luke Quigley on bike number 51. So Luke Quigley still battling away in 6th place at the moment with Adrian Coates, Matt Llewellyn and Stuart Easton behind him. There's Clive Paget. So Clive Paget is moving. Clive Paget himself, a very, very good motorcycle racer. Picked up an injury in France that basically meant his arm isn't a lot of use as far as motorcycle racing is concerned, and therefore he took on team management out of Paget's of Batley, which is a very famous motorcycle establishment that have backed people throughout the years, even back in my day. Paget have been sponsoring people for as long as I can remember, and their latest acquisitions are these two, Jay Vincent and Leon Camier, and Clive Paget, of course, committed to getting his men out front. It's a good little friendly team. I do like the way that they go about their business, and they've always had good motorcycles. Clive, if nobody else in the team, knows exactly how he wants these bikes, and well, he's definitely the drive behind the team, but he certainly picked two very, very good motorcycle riders. Leon Camier started his career on 125s here in Britain, but since then he's grown about 3 foot, literally.
It will be interesting to see where Leon Camier attempts a passing maneuver, because I'd say Jay Vincent
is expecting it.
Well, through the first section of corners and the chicane onto the back straight, it's quite strong through there. Leon Camier doesn't seem to be able to get any slipstream, so I'll pass him to Tower.
Harris in
Finally.
front, and Tom Sykes. Well, it was a long time coming, but eventually it did. In fact, it was so long coming, we got bored with it and moved up to the Camier move. And
I wonder if Tom
Harris
Sykes made a mistake.
Well,
Carl Harris forced him.
Unfortunately, speculation is us at this moment in time. It's a bit of a shame, but Carl Harris, it's called Sod's Law, and we worked to that all along. But there we go. Our director, of course, has it on tape, and this is how we see Carl Harris slide. He's been trying that manoeuvre for a long, long time.
Down the other side, yeah.
And I'll never doubt our director ever again. Harris in 3rd place, Sykes in 4th place, and oh dear me. People all over the place, back markers, got to watch out for them. But it is, I thought we were going to come back at the moment, and Leon Camier had made the pass on Jay Vincent just to put the cat amongst the pigeons. 24 Jay Vincent leads, 17 Leon Camier in 2nd place. 3rd now, Carl Harris, the series leader, and really it is a Honda clean sweep at this moment in time. And Harris is such a long way behind these two, he's never going to close in with a few laps that are left.
Yeah, over 6 seconds behind at the moment, so very difficult. But Leon Camier using every inch of the track now. The laps are clicking down, so he really has to think about a move. Jay Vincent does look very confident in the front.
I think you're absolutely right. I think Camier he has the maturity. He's a cool dude, is Camier. I think he'll just be sitting there on the shoulder of Jay Vincent. It's a question of what Jay Vincent's got left and how much of a surprise Leon Camier can spring on Jay Vincent. Well, the surprise is coming soon, I felt. That was almost there then, although it was an odd place for Jay Vincent to be placing himself on the track. It was a camera angle that gave us a bit of a fall. So, Camier has the fastest lap. That was on lap 5. So Leon Camier, we know, can go a bit quicker. They're going 124.5 now, 124.7 as they cross the line. 123.9 was Camier's quickest lap, so we know he's capable, if his tyres are with him, of going a little bit quicker. Maybe Jay Vincent, somewhat intelligently, has slowed the pace back a little bit, so he's got some response.
Well, I'd be always impressed if riders can do that. I know anytime I was racing, it's just head down, and obviously keep an eye on your pit board, do everything you can, but trying to conserve tyres and judge how better your tyres will be at the end of the race if you back the pace off half a second. I find it very difficult.
If there was a man to do it, Jay Vincent has the experience, sure. And he is he's a thinking man's rider. So
the guy's been round the world in Grand Prix umpteen times, so
yeah, well,
he knows the job well.
Indeed, but Leon Camier, you've got to say, he's carrying the corner speed. He's looking every which way at where he might possibly be able to put a pass on Jay Vincent. I think we can definitely say that there will be a pass from Leon Camier. It's just a question of where and whether Jay Vincent has a response.
Carrying the corner speed and carrying the youth.
Yeah.
That's always worth half a second in these situations.
Yeah. Sometimes though that youth is a little over exuberant.
One way or the other, yeah.
And costing Paget's a 1-2 will be, well, he'll get a slap, that's for sure. Because I think a 1-2 in British Supersport's level, well, A, it'll be a first, I think, for Paget's, and B, it's pretty much unique anyway. In fact, I can't think of the last time. Whoa, that's cost him dear.
Yeah,
Got it on the well, there you go, youth. And the impetuosity of youth found him with a whole load of drive missing because he went on the grass, spun the rear wheel. Now we'll see what he's made of.
Exactly, yeah, there's no traction out there, using every inch of the track, but the grass doesn't give
It's a
good
funny
grip.
place to have done that as well, out of a bottom dead stop gear hairpin, really. I mean, he should have just been on the power, and he just ran a little bit wide, kept it nailed, but of course no traction on the grass, dry as it now is here at Croft. He did that on Friday, it'd been right round on him.
Well, this will be interesting to
Yeah, it will be, because Jay Vincent won't know that he has that little extra advantage at this moment in time. So it's going to be easy to see now whether Leon Camier is carrying any extra track speed and can close that gap up. We're on lap 18, 2/3 of the way round lap 18 at the moment. 20 laps, of course, being the race distance. What is Jay Vincent going to be able to do? Does he actually know? Has he had a little look round anywhere to see if Leon Camier is right there? Is Jay Vincent extended as far as he can be?
6/10 in front now, so he'll know when he comes off across the start finish straight that he has got the gap. Whether Leon Camier can do anything about that remains to be seen. He's got 2 laps to do it.
Well, he's there again, isn't he? He's closed it right back down. So Jay Vincent, by the time we've done this braking situation and then the one at the end of the front straight, I think Leon Camier is back with us. But he won't be going out there on that dirt. Oh,
yes, he is.
Why do I open my mouth?
Yeah.
I'm just about to say he won't be doing that again, and he goes and exactly does it again. I think I've got some kind of a link direct with the riders today.
His bike is magnetised to that grass.
Yeah, nothing like it. Well, again, losing drive onto a straight costs you the whole length of the straight. If he loses just a little bit of drive, it doesn't look like much, but that momentum is so important all the way down the straight. And when you've only got a lap and 3/4 to go, let's take another look at it.
He obviously thinks the corner's all over. He's got his head down, but the bike just keeps drifting out there.
Well, it comes to the end of the curb that's the other side of the white line, which is so often the case when tracks are prepared mainly for cars.
You're on the grass before you know it.
Before you know it, you are, and obviously he's not able to just tuck it back down onto that straight. Well, it's given Jay Vincent 2 little advantages. The lead was 9/10 of a second at the end of that last lap, and Leon Camier now, with this lap and 1 more to go, it's given him a whole job to do. Clive Paget will be having heart failure back in pit lane. There he is, Clive Paget. He looks at the monitor and then rushes out as they come round to complete the lap, because he's going out there to instruct the board man what to put on the board. That's why Clive retreated from the garage, having looked at the monitors, looked at how he's watching this television the same as you are at home. He will now have told the board man what to put out there. In fact, he might even be making hand signals himself. Last lap time then. Jay Vincent leads from Leon Camier. It will be a double, I'm sure, for Paget's Honda. Maybe Leon Camier, who, let's face it, is an intelligent young man as well. He might be just a little bit, he has the arrogance of youth, of course, but I don't think that extends to the point where he's going to chuck it up the road to catch Jay Vincent to try and take the win in the closing stages, unless, of course, Jay makes a mistake as well. What do you think?
Well, I think he doesn't give it up. There's no question, because there's always the chance that Jay Vincent could make a mistake. Jay Vincent is seeing plus half a second on his pit board, or plus 0.9 as it was in the last lap.
Well, we've got Ian McPherson still here with us. If you've just tuned into the British Supersports race, it is Jay Vincent that leads from Leon Camier, the teammates. Ian, your last take on this race?
I'm frightened to say anything after what happened to Rebira, but I'll put my money in Jay Vincent.
That's what I like.
The money I had in Rebira.
Poor old Jay Vincent.
Yeah, you've transferred the money that wrecked Rebira onto Jay Vincent. That possibly means that you've got another bet somewhere on Leon Camier. Oh, and Jay Vincent gets it a bit tiny. This is going to be costly, because Leon Camier is closing in. Just when we thought Jay Vincent could relax, Leon Camier's all over him, and this is going to be Leon Camier's race. Leon Camier stuffed out the inside. Jay Vincent, though, managed to keep his cool. That's it. Over and done with. It was his one and only opportunity to get that race win reasonably cleanly, and it is Jay Vincent deservedly taking the race win, start to finish virtually. Jay Vincent gets the clap from Clive Paget and Leon Camier. Well, he got it all but done. He almost made the manoeuvre that would have taken him the race win. It was a great ride from Leon Camier.